Welcome to Movie Recaps. Sit back, relax, grab some popcorn, and enjoy the summary. Spoilers included. The movie opens in 1932 Mississippi, where twin brothers Smoke and Stack Moore return home after the brutal experience of World War I. Both men carry deep scars, physical and emotional, from the horrors they witnessed overseas. Despite their trauma, they are determined to build a future for their black community, something to bring hope and joy amid the oppressive Jim Crow South. Using money they acquired through connections with the Chicago outfit, they plan to open a juke joint, a vibrant club filled with blues music and a place where people can escape their daily struggles. They gather family and friends to help bring this dream to life. Among them is their cousin Sammy, a young and gifted guitarist who is reluctant to play blues music because of the warnings from his preacher father that the music holds dark, supernatural powers. There's also Delta Slim, a soulful pianist with a strong connection to the community, Annie, Smoke's estranged wife who has her own painful past, and other figures who contribute to the juke joint's atmosphere. Despite the fears and warnings, the group works tirelessly, transforming an old warehouse into a place alive with music, dancing, and hope. As opening night arrives, the juke joint is packed with a mix of anticipation and joy. The blues music fills the air, uniting everyone in rhythm and spirit. But lurking in the shadows outside are dangers both supernatural and human. Remick, an Irish vampire fleeing relentless Choctaw hunters who seek to wipe out his kind, arrives in Clarksdale along with 3 other vampires. Desperate and dangerous, they have allied with members of the Ku Klux Klan who provide them shelter and protection, a grim reminder of the era's racial hatred. Drawn by the power of the music and the energy of the crowd, Remick and his vampire followers approach the club. At first, they are refused entry, but Mary, a former lover who empathizes with their plight, invites them inside. This act of mercy becomes a tragic turning point. Remick bites Mary, transforming her into a vampire who quickly spreads the infection by attacking Stack, plunging him into a monstrous transformation. Suddenly, the juke joint descends into chaos. The vampires begin to prey on the patrons, turning friends and family into the undead. Annie is faced with a heartbreaking choice when her own daughter is bitten and pleads for release from a cursed fate. With heavy heart and steely resolve, Annie stakes her child to prevent her from becoming a vampire. The battle is fierce and desperate. Delta Slim fights valiantly but sacrifices himself to buy time for others to escape the carnage. Sammy, despite his initial reluctance, rises as a leader. Fueled by grief and determination, he confronts the vampire threat head-on, engaging Remick in a brutal fight. Just as dawn begins to break, Smoke arrives, wielding a stake that brings an end to Remick's reign of terror. The sunlight cleanses the club of the undead, and the immediate threat fades. Yet the horror does not end with the dawn. The Ku Klux Klan, led by the vicious Hogwood, launch a vicious assault on the damaged juke joint. Smoke stands firm to defend the community, fighting off the attackers with the strength born of love and loss. Though he kills the Klan members, he sustains fatal wounds. In his final moments, he envisions a reunion with Annie and their lost child, finding a measure of peace and closure before dying beside the ruins of the club. The film's final scenes bring us back to Sammy, standing inside his father's church, guitar in hand. Despite the preacher father's warnings to abandon blues music for the salvation of the soul, Sammy embraces his gift, choosing to carry on the musical legacy of his family and community. This moment marks the beginning of his journey as a blues musician and the continuation of a cultural tradition forged in pain and resilience. In the mid-credits scene set decades later in 1992 Chicago, an older Sammy has become the proud owner of a thriving blues club. His vampire relatives, Mary and Stack, visit him and remind him of a promise made by Smoke, that Sammy's soul would remain untouched by their curse. They offer him immortality, but Sammy refuses, choosing a mortal life defined by music and humanity. The scene closes with Sammy playing a soulful blues song, reflecting on the night in Clarksdale as the best night of his life. The post-credits scene returns to a young Sammy singing "This Little Light of Mine," symbolizing hope, spiritual freedom, and the enduring power of music to light the darkest of times. Throughout the film, the narrative weaves together themes of family, sacrifice, racial injustice, the supernatural, and the redemptive power of music. The juke joint is not just a setting but a symbol of resistance and survival, where blues music serves as both a weapon against darkness and a sanctuary for a people fighting to claim their place in history. The movie blends Southern Gothic horror with soulful storytelling, delivering a haunting yet ultimately hopeful tale that lingers long after the credits roll.